day. Good day in the morning. Boy, that joke is deep right there. Flowers are starting to perk up pretty good. Coming on out. Hey, Pete, GCI Turf, hope you're doing good. And man, I'm standing in a hayfield. I took off from boy, it's deep. Went up to Virginia, to the Virginia beach, and for my wedding anniversary, my 15th wedding anniversary, and come back, and boy, this stuff is deep as all get out. It's been raining like crazy since I've been gone. I just put down my summer fertilizer, just hit it with some biostimulant, so it has really taken off. Now, what I did before I left on Friday, and I cut the grass Thursday afternoon as late as I possibly could, so I couldn't do anything better to prepare me for when I come back, okay? I can't help the weather, I can't help it rained, I can't help the fertilizers that good, and I can't help that the biostimulants work as well as they do. So this is what I'm left with when I come back. Now, I did cut it at 4.5 inches before I left. That's my standard routine cutting all summer long. Now, I'm not going to change that when I get back. I'm going to keep cutting at 4.5. Now, I know you're getting ready to say, well, what about that 1/3 rule, Pete? Well, that's very true. But sometimes your mower won't go high enough to compensate for that, okay? And by mowing more than 1/3 once or twice a year or 3 times a year, am I going to do severe damage to the turf? Absolutely, you're not. Now, little word of warning on this. Of course, if you ain't got a good yard and you don't care nothing about yards and you don't care how it looks, then who gives a rat's tail on 1/3 or whatever? You mow that thing however you want to mow it. But for a high-end manicured turf like this right here, it's okay to cut a little bit more than 1/3 off on occasion. All right, so let's see where we're at. And I had to get me a regular old ruler here. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's one grass blade that's 11 inches tall. I'd say for the most part, this is around the 8 to 9 inch range. This is my yard. Around the house, it's irrigated. Now let's go back out here. Now this is going to be kind of interesting to you. Okay, this is our, and while we got you here, man, I'm getting a lot of comments. You see this right here? I'm telling you, people are saying, my gosh, I got weeds all in the yard. That ain't no weed. That's the fescue seeding out. And the way, here's a great way to tell if it's your fescue seeding out. You find the top of a seed head and you follow that stem all the way down and get as low as you can get. Stay on that same stem and pull it out. Now look at that leaf blade coming off of that. That's a fescue leaf blade. Okay, that's the way you can tell if you or you ain't got to pull the grass out. Just follow the stem down in there, and you can see the fescue blade down in there on it. All right, so here's our little three pass on 3 inches. Of course, I cut it on 3 inches, and let's see, it's back up to 5. So I had 2 inches of growth on that. Let's come over here to the Milorganite test plot. Now I cut this on 4.5, and we are up to about 6. I call that about 6 inches. So we've had about 1.5 inches of growth on there, and all this back here, I cut all this the same day on Thursday evening. This 3 inch, you can't see it real good, but it's some heat stress down in there. it should kick back in gear now. It's got some water. And boy, we got some water, I'm telling you. And then here's the Academy Fert, which is around, I'm gonna call that 7 inches. It's about 2.5 inches of growth on that. Oh, there it is. Look down in there, look at that heat stress. That ain't fungus, that's heat stress, because the heat stress was kicking in real good before I left because it'd been dry for a while. And this 4.5 inch Milo and 4.5 inch Academy had 0 heat stress in it. Only this area that was cut at 3 inches. All right, here's something else interesting. Look coming up in my 3 inches. Look at that weed coming up in there. Chop him off. There ain't a weed one in that 4.5 inches on the Academy or the Milo side. Not the first one. Most of you know I got a big old ZK, and I'm not gonna cut it with that. I'm gonna cut it with my my X-Mark 30, simply because I'm preparing the yard for a July 4th video, and when you see that, you'll understand then. So I'm gonna cut this at 4.5 inches with the 30, X-Mark 30. I'm gonna side discharge it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna make me 2 passes along my bed to give me somewhere to turn around. That'll be clean cut grass. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So you can see what I'm talking about. I've got 2 30-inch wide passes. Now you can use this concept with any mower. The only reason I do this is so that when I turn around, I don't pound my pine needle, my fresh pine needles or mulch with a bunch of grass clippings, because I don't want that. Now I save this little strip right here for my cleanup pass. After I do all my lines, I'll make 1 pass around all the edges, clean them up. I ain't worried about edging no beds. I ain't worried about edging no concrete. I only want to get the grass back under control because I've been gone for a while. All right, now in between areas like this, I'm gonna put my bagger on, and I'm gonna bag this little section right here, because there's not a lot of ways I can do this and not hammer my pine needles with grass clipping. I got to put the rest of that patio in. I'm gonna show you how to do that. I'll come over here and I'll bag this little strip of grass right here. All right, here's a good one. Mulching. This is why I don't, and flowers are coming out real good. Here's something interesting. Look at this. When I done that video the other day on a hose end sprayer, I took the excess RGS and Flora Green that was in that tank, even that little hose end sprayer, and I poured it right there, pure product, and poured it right there on that flower. Look how much bigger that one flower is. It ain't even been a week. So mulching versus side discharge and bagging. Of course, you don't want to bag your clippings because in the plant itself, in the grass blade itself, in that grass blade holds a lot of the nutrients and the water and things. So when you bag it and go dump it over in the woods, you're taking your nutrition and your water away from the plant that's stored in the grass blade, and you're dumping it over in the woods. And to me, that's a waste. So we want to return that to the ground. Now, depending on what kind of mulching system you have, I've only had 1 mower that had a mulching system. It was an X-Mark walk behind. It was a real good one. And I'll just be honest with you, I couldn't stand it. I hated the fact that it would chop the grass up and drop it straight down and leave these clumps and crap all in the yard. I can't stand it. So, and again, that's my opinion. You may use a mulching mower all the time and you may get great results. And if you do, you continue to do so. That's why I like side discharge, is because I can scatter that clippings out over the yard a lot more evenly. So in this case, with it being this deep, I'm gonna do what's called a double cut. I'm gonna mow the yard with this 30-inch mower, and then I'm gonna mow the back, and then I'm gonna mow the front, and all at one time. And then while the clippings are drying, they're gonna lay on top of the grass and kind of dry out a little bit while I'm mowing the front yard. Then I'll come back and start at the same spot I started in before. I'm gonna start in that corner and use that road for my line. I'll start there, mow the entire yard, and then by the time I get back around to here, those clippings should be dried up a little bit, not so wet, so that when I make my double cut, meaning I'm gonna go over the exact same lines I go over the first cut, it should chop them up real good. So I ain't got much time. Okay, this is taking a little longer than I thought. It's really deep. So I'm gonna get the ZK out, knock the top off of it, then go back with my push mower or my 30-inch and do my cleanup. And I think I'll still be all right for my July 4th video. I can mow a few extra times to darken up the lines if I need to. All right, so this is kind of what you get. Whew, boy, it's deep. Look at this. See that right there? You want that crap gone. You can kind of see it's a decent cut, but I only went over it one time. Blades probably need sharpening. Deck probably needs to be cleaned out, and that's a good reminder to me. After I do this, I will clean the deck out, put some new blades on for the next cut. That way she'll be ready to go with some sharp blades. And so I'm gonna run back over this again and clean this up. And again, I know my lines are crooked. You ain't gotta tell me that. I get that. I could care less how straight they are right now. I'm simply trying to get the yard back to where I can get it on a routine mowing schedule because I've been out of town for a week. After a double cut, look at some of this right here that's kind of left down in the grass. That's got to go. Okay, yeah, I got behind. Well, I mean, I didn't get behind. I went on vacation. You know, you deserve that kind of thing every now and then, especially when you've been married 15 years. You better get your butt and take your wife somewhere. But that's got to go. This will kill the grass, okay? I see this a lot in the springtime. Folks don't mow often enough. And that crap gets in the, this stuff builds up down in there. Well, what I'll do is I'll leave it overnight. You know, I'm not gonna run over the yard 3 or 4 times because my mower, even as good as it is, it ain't gonna pick that up out of that grass matted down in there. It's not gonna lift that up and chop it up. It just ain't gonna happen. I don't care what kind of mower you got, it ain't gonna do it. Not when your grass is this thick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave it overnight. And I'm gonna hope and pray it don't rain tonight, which the skies look pretty clear, but that don't mean nothing in North Carolina right now because it could rain any minute. And I'm gonna come back out here tomorrow about midday when the grass has done had the dews done dried off of it. And I'm gonna take my blower and I'm gonna get that up, all right? I'm gonna walk the whole yard with my backpack blower, and these spots right here that kind of matted down and got them those heavier clippings in them, I'm gonna fluff it up with a blower. And I'm gonna let it sit again. So today's Wednesday, I double cut it. And I know it seems like a whole lot of work, but hey, when you go on vacation and you've had 4 or 5 inches of rain in a week, you need to expect a lot of work when you get back. And I know you might have a bagger, and that's fine if you want to bag it. You know, I don't have a bagger. If you want to do that, that's up to you. But I don't have one, so I got to do work with what I got. So today's Wednesday, got it double cut. Tomorrow's Thursday. I'll fluff it up, walk over, try to lift up some of that junk that's matted down in there, and then Friday it'll be dry, and I'll run back over and I'll mow the yard again. And by then I should be back to where I was. Then I can get to work on my July 4th video, prepping the yard for that, and should be good to go. Now, hey, check this out. I don't want you to ever think that when I show you these stuff on these videos that you think, hey, that's the only way you can do it. Because it's not the only way. You know, there's a lot of ways of skinning a cat, and you might, if other folks have a better way or easier way, you might want to comment down in them comments below and help people out. Okay, that's all I'm trying to do is help folks out, because I get a lot of this. How do you mow the yard when it's overgrown and out of shape and lots of rain, can't get to it, vacation, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, it's a lot of work. Look at me, I'm wringing wet, sweating like a dog. I just got in from vacation, kissed my kids, went there and told them I loved them, I missed them, played with them for a minute, and I had to get out here in the yard and get it taken care of because it was deep. It's really deep. And my turf is as thick as anybody's turf in this country. And it's a job, look, it's a job getting this thing back under control, okay? Now, let's say if I had a big mower with a big bagging machine, would I bag it? I might. I mean, I've got two of them at the shop, two 60-inch X-Marks with a big bagging system on them. But that's a lot of headache to go all the way to the shop and get them, drag them back, do the mowing, then leave and take it back. I ain't got time for that crap. So I work with what I got. I get out here, get it done. And at the end of the day, here's your objective in a high-end yard, okay? Don't miss this point. Regardless of how you get to the finish line, the way you run the race is you want to make sure that all them big, I was looking for some clippings somewhere around here. There ain't none right here. Make sure you get all them big chunks of clippings out of the grass. You don't want that matted down in the grass. So it don't matter how you do it. Just make sure that you don't leave a lot of big chunky clippings or a lot of clippings laying on top of the grass, and especially before rain. Whew, because if all that's on top of the grass and it rains and mats that mess down in there, it's going to leave trouble in the yard. It's going to kill spots of grass, so you don't want to do that. So, hey, another way is you can just take your blower and scatter those clippings out real nice and even, and then come back a day or two later and recut the yard and kind of chop them up some more. So, hey, man, I hope this helped. I'm kind of recharged right now. So I'm going to pump some videos out because I got quite a bit of energy from the weekend because I hung out with my wife the whole time. I ain't have no kids. I ain't have no work. I ain't have nothing. So I'm pumped up and ready to go. It's like that old commercial with that Energizer bunny where it's banging on that drum. That's me right now. I'm ready to go. I'm pumped up and ready. So I got several videos I'm going to make this week. One's on disease control, tall fescue. I know a lot of you's getting some brown patch in the yard. Now, if you're on the Academy program, you ain't going to see that because we prevent that stuff in my program. We don't wait until it happens because we know it's coming. Okay, humidity and high temperatures are evident, especially here in the transition zone. And if you got fescue, brown patches coming, so we prevent that. July 4th, we're going to do something pretty cool in this yard. What else? July 4th, I know the yard's green as a gourd right now. It's just so green. I'm going to try to step it up a level. So I'm going to show you a little trick that we're gonna do a couple of applications on this turf right here and try to step it up a notch. Cause see, I got a lot of families gonna come over and they're gonna check the yard out and they're gonna hang out and we're gonna have a good time and celebrate freedom July 4th. So I want the yard to look extra special. I want it to look extra good and extra dark. I'm gonna show you how I get it that way. All right, I'm out of breath because I'm wide open right now. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, all that cool stuff. And get your cleanup right. Does that work? Get your cleanup right. I don't know, works for me. See you later. No, let's do get your been on vacation a week while it's been raining all week. Grass is crazy deep, mowing right. Peace out.